pair of wise dice, then attend to this heaven slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Roll dice and woes of life. Love deprived, looking to revive. What's the meaning of life? One subjective paradise. Crystal chandeliers, motives reflected. Often mirrors appear clear, grinning from ear to ear. Craving and raving and grain, rekindle the flame. Closer she draws near. Stay there, remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, we know our purpose. In paradise, we know what our worth is. In paradise, we manifest dreams. In paradise, truth is what you conceive. Are you?
Yes, it is. The truth is what you can see. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition. I'm host Matt Clark, and it is Wednesday, and we're back on our normal track. After the holidays, we took a couple days off, and then, we really haven't been here at Rococo's. Rococo, one of my favorite places to eat. Man, I can't believe I just did that. That just messes everything up, but I got to get to Rococo. I don't have what happened was my mouse ran out. I got to go get me a new battery for my mouse. And so anyway, that kind of happens. But anyway, we're here at Rococo. Thank you, Bruce Reinhardt, for coming down and or for hooking us up today. It's located at 4308 Northwestern. You can call for reservations at 405-400-7495. Their hours are Sunday, Saturdays and Sundays they have brunch. I need to redo that a little bit so that flows a little better. But anyway, on Sundays, the brunch Saturdays and Sundays open at 11. If you've not had their brunch, it's just fantastic. You've got to try it. But anyway, they're open Sunday through Thursday from 11 to 10. And then on Fridays and Saturdays, they are open from 11 to 11. So you got to come try it out. The brunch is fantastic. They talked me into the lobster omelet, and it was unbelievable. It's now my favorite thing to have at brunch. Now, they do have a bunch of other things, but that's absolutely my favorite. You can call for catering events at 405-534-8838. That's 405-534-8838. In fact, I went to the Continental Land Party, and Coco was the caterer for that event at the Oklahoma History Center, and I always love it over there. And Joe and they did a fantastic job over there at Continental Land. It was great, as always, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. But Rococo, if you haven't been here, dude, you have no idea what you're missing. It is a fantastic place. I just so enjoy being here, having lunch. And today I had the fancy grilled cheese and clam chowder. Today is what I had. So last night the Thunder played the Celtics, and of course the Thunder come away with victory 127-123. Celtics are now 26-7. The Thunder are 23-9, slowly creeping up behind the Minnesota Timberwolves. And on my show After the Storm, the OKC Thunder post-game analysis live stream, I've been pretty critical, and on the show The Unpopular Hour, about our coach Daigneault, and his desire to be a minutes manager. Okay, and myself and Nathan Taylor of YMB, we both believe, and especially Nathan, believes that it's going to come back to haunt us. And my thing with him is, if you want to do the minutes managing and doing all that, I get that. But like I said in the things yesterday, part of what I felt like in a 50-50 game, and my keys were the same thing. Second and fourth quarter, our lineups are terrible, and a lot of it becomes he doesn't play SGA. He sits in for 7 minutes and 6 minutes. And if he would play him earlier and put him in a minute earlier, instead of at 5 minutes, you play him at 7.5, or you bring him in and put him on the deal at 8, he comes in at 7.5 or 8 minutes. To me, it makes a huge difference because you get him out of rhythm. And it's like, Coach, don't you know, when you are building players up, and which is what he is, he's fantastic at building players up. That's what you do. You do what he does. You give them, because they don't really have a rhythm. They aren't a superstar. They don't have a flow or get into a flow of a game. And that's where SGA is. He's a superstar. And then we'll just go over some of his things here in a minute. But the Thunder are taking care of business. The Thunder have won 10 out of their last 12. And, they've had some tough games. But that being said, it still bothers me because I'm not going to be hard on him anymore. He is who he is. And so now I'm going to focus more on what the team is doing individually and not his desire to make J-Dub and the Thunder. When you watch the social media, it's all about, like I watched Royce, whatever his name is, and he did a reel. And it's talking about, oh, well, the Thunder did this, and he put everybody, and then it said at the end, and they made free throws. Well, who the hell made the free throws? Josh and SGA, but SGA did the final 2 free throws to go up 4 with 2 seconds left. Now, why didn't you put that in your report? But once again, it's almost like we were talking about this last night at the game. And a young man made, or man made, he's not a young man, he's an older guy. But anyway, he made a point. He said, man, maybe they don't want to go back to where they were with Russell. And I was like, that's a very valid point, that Sam Presti doesn't want to have one player be above the team. And that's what they're about, the team. And I'm like, well, you're pushing J-Dub against SGA. So what is the deal? You're gonna turn him into something he's not. He's not SGA. He's not going to be SGA. What he is, he's a good number 2 or number 3. But to me, you have a big 3, and you screwed it up once because your best player was Kevin Durant, not Russell Westbrook. And I understand he was our first overall draft pick. I get all that, but he was not our best player. Our best player was Kevin Durant. And Russell was MVP, even though he wasn't the MVP of the league. He got it simply because he had a triple-double, which the Thunder aided him in getting. And that's why, most Thunder fans don't care about that because they just aren't basketball purists and they just wanted to win. They don't care. But for those of us that are purists, for those of us who understand the game, for those of us who appreciate the intricacies of how basketball is done, we did not like that. We did not like that he was given a triple-double. He did not earn the triple-double. We did not like that. We were like, look, dude, and that's what anybody will tell you. Hey, he was great in scoring. He was great in assists. But in rebounding, the Thunder aided him in rebounding to make sure he got triple-double. Why? Because Kevin Durant was gone. They had to have something to lift the fans up and give the fans something to cheer for. So in that part, great. But now we are back at that point, and we're doing good. And when you look at these numbers right here, Celtics 13 of 40, Thunder 18 of 40 from 3. Field goal percentage, the Thunder 45.7. Excuse me, the Celtics 45.7, the Thunder 52.3. We're out rebounded by 9, and that's simply because they've got those trees in the middle with Porzingis, and then of course you got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum coming in, and then you got Porzingis. So they're just bigger than we are, especially when we go to a smaller lineup with K-Rich. Even though I do like the lineup, depending on who we're playing, it's a catch-22. And like I said, my favorite lineup is SGA, Kaysen, Isaiah Joe, either Dort or K-Rich or Wiggins, and either J. Will or Chet. So any of those 7 mixed in together, but especially with Isaiah Joe, Kaysen, and SGA. And then you can mix in the other 2 however you want to do them, whether it's Dort and J. Will, Dort and Chet, Wiggins and Chet, Wiggins and J. Will, Wiggins and K-Rich, however you want to, or K-Rich and Chet, however you want to do it. That group is, when you need stops and you need to make that run in the first quarter, which is what the Thunder do with that group. And then after he gets us behind because he loses all momentum in the second quarter because of his play style or his calling or his mismanagement of playing time because he doesn't get it, that's what you do. And then on fourth quarter, it's the same thing, which it's the number in the fourth quarter is better than our numbers in the third quarter, the second quarter, which I will show you. My point. And the reason why he brings SGA in 2 minutes earlier in the fourth quarter than he does in the second quarter. Now, if you do that in the second quarter, if you bring him in 2 minutes and you play him 2 minutes longer in 50-50 games, the numbers are going to go up. Now, when we play the Nets and people like that, we can beat them with however rotation you want to do. But, you can't. You can't do it. Anyway, Pips points in the paint. Thunder 50, Celtics 46, 14 turnovers for them, 12 for us, and of course we lead the NBA when it comes to that number, and that's the beautiful thing about what the Thunder are doing. So, but anyway, those are our numbers, and then when you look at the game stats, here's everybody's stats for last night. SGA does what he does, and when this Thunder winning 10 out of our last 12, and we're going to get into SGA in a minute, but we've won 10 out of our last 12, and it's like, what is it? 12 of our last 15, I believe, or something like that, or 14 of our last 18, or something crazy like that. We've just been on fire, and it's simply because we're winning. And like last night, the Celtics came back against us and made a run, which of course they're the best team in the league. Why wouldn't they make a run? But Royce Young made the comment on his little reel, whatever, about with the Thunder battle, the Thunder, showing resilience. I've been saying this for a year. The beautiful thing about last year was that we won in the year before at the end when I predicted we'd win 40 games last year, is that I saw us playing all these games tough. At the end of games, we had to make stops and we had to make plays. We had to make free throws. We had to make shots. We had to do that. And all of last year and the end of the year before, we started making it. And I said at the beginning of this year, the things that happened last year, and I said it last year on the show, you can go back and look at the Unpopular Hour after the storm takes on games. I said, because we are fighting to win so many close games, and we're winning those because SGA was closing the door, that what that did for our team is we understand what it's like in a close game to win close games. Okay? That's what this team does. To win, we're going to make a play, whether it's SGA to Chet, or SGA to J-Dub, or SGA to Dort, or SGA to Josh, or SGA to Joe, or whatever, or J-Dub making a play. Whatever it is, we know how to close out games. Now J-Dub did make a good shot last night to go up, but to close the door with 2 seconds left, what did they do? They had to, as they fouled SGA, we knew who they were going to foul. He went up, boom, boom, knocked it out, put us up 4 game over with 2 seconds left. Unless we did something, foul somebody on a 3 or something. But to me, that's the difference of the Thunder. And you look at our scoring last night. You look at the balance of what we're doing, that all 5 starters, the way they played. And Lou Dort had a horrible game, which was expected because he can't continue to play the games that he's been playing. And you look at what he's done. But what I'm saying is, the Thunder overall stats this year, this is what I was trying to get to with the Thunder, okay? When you look at what the Thunder are doing, okay? When you look at how we're playing, when you're looking at the team stats, this is the team stats, okay? This is why the Thunder are 23-9. Here you go, right here. Points, we're 4th. We were 3rd last year. Opponents' points, we were 20 last year, now we're 11, giving up 112.7. And what does that say? Or we're 11th, I'm sorry. What does that say? What that says is the 3 things we needed to fix from last year to this year. You needed to fix the shooting. We needed shooters, which we got. Because you can look at we're number 3 in field goal percentage, number 1 in 3-point shooting. So we fixed that. Number 2 things, we need to fix our perimeter defense. Now, what does that mean? That's field goal percentage and threes. 50.3, we're 3rd in defense efficiency as far as holding field goals, holding teams down to shooting 50%. 3-point percentage, we're 9th out of 30. Okay? So we fixed 2 of the 3 things, and the 3rd thing and the most glaring thing that we've got to fix is an inside presence. And when you go to offensive rebounds, we're 30th in getting offensive rebounds, and we're 29th in giving up offensive rebounds. We were 30th, so we're getting better. We're up. We moved up a slot. So these are the reasons why the Thunder are where they are. You look at overall turnovers. The Thunder are number 1 defensively. And on the opponent side, you got Oklahoma City, and then you got the opponents. And opponent side, we're points, we're 11th. Field goal percentage, we're 3rd. 3-point percentage, we're 9th. Assists, 22nd. Pips, points in the paint, we're 5th. Okay? Assists to turnovers, we're 2nd. Turnovers, we're number 1 in creating turnovers for the opposing team. What they have, 15 last night. We normally do 16 and a half. Offensive rebounds, we're 29th. We've got to improve on that. Defensive rebounding, we're 14th, which is middle of the road, which is okay. Second quarter scoring, we're number 8 as far as giving up second quarter points, and we're 17th as far as scoring second quarter points. Why? I just made the point to you, because he sits SGA for 7 minutes. SGA leads, or is one of the top 2 or 3 in 10-point scoring in the first quarter. 10 points or more scoring in the first quarter. He's I think he's between 1 and 3 right now. He floats back and forth. Okay? But he doesn't play him till 5 minutes, so he sits in for 7 minutes. An all-NBA player, he sits him for 7 minutes. Now, for those of you who don't play, you don't understand what it means when you get into a groove and you sit out for that long. The only time you normally do that is when you're in foul trouble. When you sit down a long time, you're in foul trouble, you never get back in the groove. Well, that's what Dagnall does to SGA. He sits him too long, so he can play J-Dub. That's like J-Dub's quarter. And you can see we're 17th. Now, in the fourth quarter, we are 9th, and then it's a flip. Look at the flip, okay? Look at the flip. 19. Why? Because of the lineups he plays. And in the second quarter, when he locks, the reason why we're 8th is when he locks down and you put in the lineup that I talked about with his SGA, Joe, Dort, or K. Rich, or Wiggins, or J. Will, and Chet. When you put in, and K does it, it doesn't really matter. If we go small, then it's usually Rich. Okay? Or if we want to go big, it's that same group, and then it's J. Will at center. And then when you want to go bigger, then you do Isaiah Joe, SGA, Kaysen, K. Rich, and Chet. So you're long, you're athletic, you got guys who can shoot the three, everybody can score, but the key denominator is SGA is the quarterback, and everybody defers to him. And they don't do that when he's not on the floor. So when you look at that, that's kind of where the Thunder are. Now, the big question is, what do the Thunder do? And here is the biggest trade news out there, okay, for everybody. And the question is, what do you do? What do the Thunder do at this point? Do you trade for Lauri Markkanen? Now, what do the Jazz get? Let's talk about what the Jazz would want. Cason Wallace, to me, he's off the table. Jane Davis Bertans, our 2024 first-round pick via Utah. We own their pick, okay, through a trade, this past trade. 2024 first-round pick via Houston. Both of those are protected. And the Houston draft pick is going to be terrible. It's not going to be a good pick at all because Houston's playing well. They're 9th in the association right now in the West. Their pick is not going to be that good. Now, Utah, on the other hand, their pick would be good. So the question is, do we want to give up that pick and trade for Markkanen? Now, the 2027 and our 2029, I don't really care. In 2025, I don't really care about that. And, Nathan Taylor and I were disagreeing on that simply because Nathan believes that the Thunder need to keep those picks for later. And I'm like, well, I don't agree with that because of what the Thunder would receive. Now, the reason why I said Kaysen's off the list, what that reminds me of is when Sam Presti fleeced the Los Angeles Clippers getting SGA. Now, most of y'all don't remember what happened back then, but the Clippers did not want to get rid of SGA. When they got Kawhi wanted Paul George. Remember, we had Paul George and Russell at that point. Everybody remember. And he wanted Paul George. So the Clippers will say, we want Paul George, and they will give us a bunch of picks. And Sam Presti, being the genius that he is, Sam Presti's like, cool, we'll do that, but we want SGA. And they didn't want to give up. And I saw a story with Doc Rivers on a podcast, and he was talking about it. He goes, I didn't want to give up SGA. We were trying to say, hey, Kawhi, come over and play with us for a year, see what the team is like, because they knew the potential that SGA was. Now, granted, nobody saw him being what he was, and I think that the pairing with Chris Paul allowed SGA to grow and be the player that he is 100%, okay? 100%, I do believe that. So to me, no, we're not giving up Kaysen. Kaysen is a good young piece that we'll need. Now, the downside is that if we give up Markkanen, or we get Markkanen, well, in 2 years, his contract said, what you going to do? Right now, you got to re-sign Josh. You're going to have to re-sign Chet and J-Dub. And then you got to re-sign SGA. And then the rest of the guys are kind of like Dort and all those guys. They're a middle of the road. You can almost replace Dort with Kaysen very easily, because I think Kaysen he's not as physical as Dort, but he can guard multiple positions, and he's getting stronger. And in a couple years, by the time all this comes down, he will be a little bit bigger. I believe he'll be in the weight room and doing so. To me, that's the $1 million question. is if we get him, what do we do with him in 2 years? Do we go all in for now to get Marketing or what? Now, for me, it's really simple. I I love him because it would benefit us because you'd have the starting lineup of SGA, Dort, J-Dub, Chet, and Laurie, and have Josh coming off the bench with Isaiah Joe, Wiggins, and that would be your and K. Rich and J. Will. That would be your bench coming off. Okay, so I'm perfectly comfortable with that, and I think that would help us as far as our giving up offensive rebounds because Marketing is 7 foot. He's athletic. 6'11", 7 foot. He can athletic. He can block shots. He can rebound, so it would definitely help us when it comes to that, plus blocking shots and help our interior defense along with Chet. That would help out immensely. But I'm in a firm believer, and I think Sam Presti is the same way. Let's see where we are this year. Let's play this through this year as is. And then at the end of the year, depending on what happens in the playoffs, now, do I think this team can win it all? No, I do not. Do I think there's an opportunity, a chance to? Sure, I do. But do I think, there's a 40% chance, 30% chance, 25 to 30% chance that we can win it all without making a move. But I don't think we have to make a move at some point to shore up the problems. With offensive rebounds going to come back to rear its ugly head against us in the playoffs. Because, remember, those are one-game series. And the problem with those are, and that's the issue I have with the coach, and Nathan brought this up last night, you can't give away possessions by sitting SGA for 2 extra minutes. You can't do it. And just because we're winning in the second quarter and we're flowing, but you can tell, then this is the thing I know that he understands the flow of the game because he will sub in the fourth quarter or the second quarter at 7 or 8 minutes when it's not flowing right and put somebody else in. But he doesn't put in his best player to curb the bleeding. Now, the $1 million question is why he does that, why he won't do that. Now, of course, he needs to thank his lucky stars he's in Oklahoma City because I can promise you, if he was anywhere else, the people in Oklahoma City, the people in Oklahoma aren't going to ask difficult questions. They're just happy to have the Thunder. They're not going to beat the guy up at all. Me, on the other hand, I'm going to beat his ass up. That's me. I'm going to beat him up. I'm going to ask the tough questions. Dude, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing that? Give me your explanation and don't give me some bull crap. I understand the game. Give me a legitimate reason why you're doing what you're doing. That's my point. Because to me, you can't give away possessions, which is what the Thunder do. They give away possessions. They give away possessions all the time. And it frustrates me to no end that they do that because I'm like, dude, you are giving away possessions. You're giving away possessions in the second quarter. You're giving away possessions in the fourth quarter simply by not having him on it. Now, I do know in the Denver game, for example, we were struggling a little bit. 8 minutes ago, boom, you bring SGA in. What do they immediately do? They immediately bring in Jokic and Murray, not one or the other. They brought in both of them. They're like, okay, no, we see what you're doing here. We're not going to let this game get out of hand. And they came and got him. We don't do that. When they put in our best players, he puts in Isaiah Joe, or he'll put in Dort, or he'll put in Josh, or he'll put in anybody. He'll put in whomever except SGA. And now, not to mention, there's been 2 occasions that I've seen at games personally that SGA could see the flow of the game changing. He gets up off the bench and Dagnall makes him sit back down. That's happened twice. You can go back and look at the film, whatever, the tape. It's happened twice. Why? Because SGA saw the flow of the game changing. Our coach was like, oh, I'm determined to play my minutes. You're playing this amount of minutes. Forget all that crap, bro. This is not the G League. This is the NBA. Those are the issues that I have. And for all you people that just overlook that, you can overlook all you want to. But those are real concerns. When your best player gets up off the bench and going, hey, bro, the game is changing. Now, LeBron is ridiculous because he just puts himself in games. Now, Dagnall is also saying, no, you're not going to put yourself in a game. And that's really what he's saying. And I get that. It's a control thing. It's, you're going to respect, you're not going to disrespect me by getting up. But the fact that he's attempted that twice says something about what he feels about your thought process on games. Because LeBron will feel something, he'll like, oh, no, I see this, let me get up and get it. He'll get in the game. He'll just put himself in. Because LeBron can do that. But SGA will see that, and I'm seeing it the same way. We got Randy Wright, the commander. He sees it the same way. We all see it the same way. We're like, why isn't he in the game? We all see it the exact same way. We're like, bro, don't you feel the momentum changing? And you know he does because he puts in somebody. But it's like, okay, you feel momentum and you don't put in your best player. You feel like this group is not working, but you're going to be determined to do it. Why? One, and you won't admit this, you know SGA is going to be able to pull you out of trouble late in the fourth quarter, late in the second quarter. You know that, and I know you know that. That's another reason why you're developing these players instead of trying to win games, like the Athletic said, or was it ESPN? This is what they said. Chet and SGA are ready to win now. The Thunder management, coaching staff, and the players aren't. Why? Because one, it should be clear, and you should make this clear, but you don't. SGA is number one. Chet and J-Dub, y'all are both 2A and 2B. But how do I put this? J-Dub got sent to the bench because Dagnall still does that run plays for him at the end of games. The hell are you doing? You have an all-NBA player, first team, one of the best players, and you can go to any site, go to any NBA player, go to anybody and go, oh man, who's the best player on the team? SJ. Who's an upcoming player? Oh, J-Dub's going to be a good player. No one says he's going to be a great player because he's going to be a really good player. But instead of you putting it in your best player's hands every time, and I was screaming this last night, and I put it in my notes, at the end of from 4 minutes on, every ball should be at half court be in SGA's in his pants. The last 4 to 3 minutes of a game. Period. Let him make the decision. Do I want to go to Chet? He made a couple of great plays to Chet last night. He made a great pass to somebody else last night, Dort or whatever in the corner, or maybe Casey, whoever it was. He's going to make the right decision to make a play. And then also last night I thought it was funny in that his reel with SGA was they showed him trying to make two different plays where he couldn't make the play, couldn't go one-on-one, he made the pass twice. Now, I can go back and name 1,000 plays where J-Dub does the same thing. And it's funny, you guys, I'm telling you something is not right. There's something going on here, okay? And the Thunder is this. I'm going to promote SGA. I'm going to promote Chet because those two get it. And you can see that Chet realized immediately who butters his bread. Now, the MVP and the Rookie of the Year. Now, SGA is fighting, really, everybody says Luka. I don't count Luka because Dallas is so, they're not going to give an MVP, even though he's doing great numbers. They're not going to give MVP numbers when his team is fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh in the league. You no matter what, all that says you're a great individual player. You're not making your team better. So I don't see them giving that to him. So really he's fighting Jokic and he's fighting Embiid. That's who he's really fighting. Now, what is it going to take for him to get the MVP? And what is it going to take Chet to get the Rookie of the Year? Which would be, for us, to me, why the hell the Thunder aren't promoting that, I have no idea. Why wouldn't you promote one guy's MVP and the other guy's Rookie of the Year? Why would you not do that? Okay? Now, here's the case for Oklahoma City. I believe, I'm going to have to check this, but I don't think no other team has had the MVP and the Rookie of the Year. Now, we don't count Wilt because he won the Rookie of the Year and the MVP, which that will never happen again. So, anyway, so when you look at that, okay, one, I think the Thunder have to finish first or second in the West. They have to be one of the top 3 best record teams in the NBA, or top 4 absolute worst, okay, leagues and teams in the league. The advantage he has over Embiid, the Embiid, they are a plus with him on the court, and without him, they're plus because of Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris. We don't have a Tyrese Maxey or Tobias Harris. J-Dub is not Tyrese Maxey. Now, Chet, I think, will be better than Tobias Harris. I believe that. But J-Dub is not Tyrese Maxey, okay? So when you look at that in itself right there tends to get us that advantage because we are a plus with SGA and we're a minus without him. So we're not the same with him and without him. Because remember when we lost to Golden State Warriors at home, 136-133, minute 30 seconds to go, the ball and the lead, and you lose the game. And we all know if SGA is in the game, we're not losing because we saw what he did to them when the coach ran a play for J-Dub and then ran a play for Chet, and then overtime SGA said, screw this, and of 7 possessions, he shot 6 and made 5 points to put the game away. He says, it's over. I'm not passing the ball. I'm taking over. And their team knew it. Their coaching staff knew it, and he knew it. Our coaching staff did not know that. But the other teams, when he starts, he's in a role and he gets going. And once he gets going, that lifts our team up. Our coaching staff don't see that, but other coaching staffs do. Other teams do. They know once he starts rolling, it's over. Because then Chet's going to start going. J-Dub's going to start going. Joe's going to start going. Josh's going to start going. K-Rich going to start going. Dort's going to start going. Whoever we got on the court is going to start rolling. Because our big boys rolling. Once it makes it easier, it's like with them with Golden State. Once Steph gets rolling, everybody starts rolling. It's the same scenario. When SGA rolls, they roll. That's why I believe if the Thunder can do this, that he can be there. But like I said, he needs to play 38, minimum of 37 minutes. Of course, that's weak teams. But he needs to play 40 minutes a game, and at least 40 minutes a game in 50-50 games. And we've talked about what 50-50 games are. And here are the Thunder's next upcoming games. Then we're going to take a break, and then we're actually going to do the NBA standings, and then we're going to take a break. Here are the Thunders. In fact, here's the game tonight. Thunder at the Hawks on a back-to-back. The Thunder are minus 1.5 point favorites, so the Hawks are plus 1.5, 247.5. I think both teams will score. I don't think they'll score as much as we will, but we'll see how that's going to work. But I think that we'll be able to take care of them. So in our next 6 games, this is our next 8 games. This is the Thunder schedule. We have the Hawks at the Hawks, which is tonight, on a back-to-back. Then we have at the Nets on Friday. Then we have at the Wizards, is that right? At the Wizards on Monday night. And then we have the Heat on Wednesday. So we're not back, then we have the Heat in Miami on Wednesday. Then we're back here against the Blazers on Thursday on a back-to-back night. So we're going to fly from Miami back to Oklahoma City, get back late, which of course is Eastern time, so the game will be over later. By the time we get out of there, they won't be back here till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning or something. And then they'll get back, sleep in their own beds, probably have a late day, get some shoot around in the morning, get up, get their day going, try to stay in their same routine, play the Blazers that night at home, and then we turn around, and then 2 days later we play the Magic. And then the tough parts of the schedule comes up. At Lakers and at Clippers back to back. And the beautiful thing that I get to see is that we'll be on national TV. So hopefully our coach will do what he should be doing, because I know he knows what to do, because he does it when he has to. When he has to, he will. And I'm like, well, why, you know what to do. Why don't you do it more? So, and I just believe if he does what he does, he's gonna get lit up by these guys. He's gonna get lit up. And I think it's funny. So anyway, we've got 8 games left, and in order to reach my goal of, I said, a minimum of 28-12. If we're 28-12, I'm really extremely happy us getting to the mark that I want us to get at, which is 54 games, which is the maximum I thought, but 52 based on our coach and what he's going to do. I figured we'd do 52 games. That's kind of how I. But anyway, so in this last 8 games, we have to go a minimum of 5-3. Okay, which I think we can get at. We can get 5-3 to end up 28-12 out of our first 40, which is basically halfway through the NBA season. And we're sitting there, and because our 3 losses, we could now we could go 4-4, or we could go 3-5. We could go 2-6, 1-7. I don't believe that will happen unless we pray to God we don't have any injuries. But if we can go 5 out of 3 5 out of our next 8, 6, I believe we should be 6 out of 8. I think we should be 6 out of 8. If not, we could go 7 out of 8. That would be tough, but I think more like 6 out of 8 is really, really good if we could finish in that. And I think that's where the Thunder can be. So if we can get there, I'm extremely excited. And I think if we do that, Chet would be the leading guy in the Rookie of the Year. And I think SGA will probably be one of the top 2 candidates right now. Still, he may give him the advantage, because why? The Thunder are one of the best teams through 40 games. And then that would allow, because remember, the Rookie of the Year and player and MVP, they come from the top teams. They come from the teams of the top 2 or 3 teams, the 1 or 2 team in their division in the Western Conference or the Eastern Conference. And then one of the top 2 or 3 for the best teams in the league. That's where the MVP comes from. So if the Thunder continue to ask of having the MVP and having the Rookie of the Year, and I don't know why the Thunder wouldn't promote that. Instead, we promote J-Dub. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I want to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, Collaborative Logic. Appreciate them for keeping us up and rolling so we can continue to do the things that we do. Also, SRB, my guy Mark Long over there. If you have any need Collaborative Logic, if you have any needs for computers, software, or anything like that, website design, they can do that for you. SRB, and my guy Mark Long, engineering, surveying, or planning. Hit my boy up. Oak Grove Trucking, and Jose Fierro, if you have any needs for dirt, rock, or sand to be moved, he is the dude for that. Greg and Max Nafee, I appreciate them supporting us and doing all the things that they always do to keep, support me in the Matt Clark Academy, as well as for the MC Sports Network. YNB, family owned and operated since 1912. They are the bank that makes things happen. They're an equal housing lender, a member of the FDIC, and proud sponsor for us to go out and support women, minority, and black-owned businesses, which we will be at tomorrow and Friday. 2 black-owned businesses tomorrow and Friday. And then, of course, you can pre-qualify online at www.ynbok.com. That's www.ynbok.com. Go into any of their locations. The main bank at 401 Elm, downtown Yukon. YNB East, which is off the Parkway and 66 or 39th Expressway. YNB Mustang, 218 North Mustang Road. YNB Peoples in the great city of Bethany on 23rd between Rockwell and MacArthur, and YNB Parkway, which is off Garth Brooks and I-40. Cannot miss it there. DT Construction and Consulting, our guy Drew Hinthorn. Hit our guy Drew up if you have any needs for roofing, or if you need somebody, or any sort of construction, remodeling, however you want to do it. They do a little bit of everything there at DT Construction and Consulting. So hit our guy Drew up at 405-209-4051. That's 405-209-4051. DT Construction, 2015 at Outlook. They're respectful, local, and loyal, which means Drew will answer the phone when you call. And then, of course, our latest sponsor is Shelter Insurance, the Mark Pemberton Agency, located 4609 Southeast 29th in Dale City, Oklahoma, 405-670-2424. They are open Monday through Thursday from 9 to 5, Fridays 9 to 1, closed Saturdays and Sundays. Proudly serving the Mid-Dale area since 1982. And then, of course, I want to thank my guy Bruce Reinhardt for allowing us to come into Rococo today to set up and do all the things that need to be done here, to do our show here. We appreciate him doing that, and I think we're going to come back tonight and watch the Thunder game and do that here. So we'll see what that works. They're located at 4308 Northwestern, right across from Spangos and right where the old VZDs used to be, but right across from there, you can't miss it, right next to Sushi Nico. And their store hours are Sundays through Thursdays from 11 to 10. And by the way, if you haven't been there on their brunch on Saturdays and Sundays, you're missing out. Like I said, my favorite is that lobster omelet. Oh, that stuff's so good. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Getting excited. And then, of course, on Fridays and Saturdays, they're open at 11 to 11. For catering and events, remember, they still have the original location right there on 29th and Penn. So for catering events, call them at 405-534-8838. They're fantastic. And one of my favorite places, so hit my boy Bruce up. They're fantastic. And the guys are over here and they're taking care of me as always. And my lunch today was on point as always. What a shocker, right? Everybody knows it was good. It was fantastic. So now I'm going to do this in NBA standings. This is where the Thunder currently stand. And then we're going to go into NFL. This is where the Thunder currently stand as of today. The T-Wolves 24-8. Losers of their last one. Remember, they got beat by the Knicks in New York. And then, of course, the Thunder taking care of business. And remember, in this winning streak, we beat the Clippers, we beat the T-Wolves, we beat Denver twice, and we beat who else did we beat? And we beat the Celtics. So, I mean, hey, that's pretty good. Those are good wins right there in this 10 out of 12 games. 10 out of 12 games, we beat Clippers, the Nuggets twice, at Denver, by the way, not at home, at Denver. We beat the Celtics, and so I'm just excited, and the T-Wolves. So I'm excited about this winning streak there, these games, the stretch that we're on right now. Nuggets 24-11, they're 1.5 back as well, winners of their last one. Clippers are the team that's surging along with the Thunder. To me, the teams are the scariest, or playing the best right now, are the Thunder, the Clippers, the Pelicans, and the Suns. And the Suns, now that they got Bradley Beal back, they are a scary, scary, scary group. So the NBA coming on the second half is going to be really, really good. So excited to be there. Okay, here is the NFL schedule for this week. On Saturday, you have the Steelers and the Ravens. Ravens. Well, it's probably because they're not playing anybody. They're already in. I think they have the number 1 seed. But, I don't. Well, do they have the number 1 seed locked up? I think they do, no matter what. So they can afford. Now, I talked about this yesterday. To me, you go ahead and you play guys for at least a quarter, because the last time they did not play everybody, they got beat in the first round. So I think Harbaugh will learn his lesson, whether Lamar plays, a quarter or whatever. You got to play them something just to kind of get these guys so they're not sitting for 2 whole weeks. Now that you have a bye, I think they've got to play some. Plus 3.5, over under, 36.5 right there. So Texans at the Colts. I don't think anybody really cares about that. Colts plus 1. The Browns and the Bengals. The Browns, I'll tell you what, boy, I don't really want to see them. If I was a team, I wouldn't want to see them in the playoffs. I really would not want to see them, because the scenario is the Browns and the Ravens will play. And I don't think the Ravens want to see the Browns. I really don't. Vikings and the Lions, that's going to be a really good game there. Probably not. Just kidding. Jaguars and the Titans, don't care. Jets, Patriots, don't care. Falcons and Saints, don't care. Buccaneers, what I should do is put the games on here. I'm going to start doing that, the games that I really want to see, and talk about the games I don't care about, but that's going to offend some people. I get that, but a lot of these games we really don't really care about. So, like the Broncos and Raiders, forgive me, Jose Fierro, but, I don't really care about the Vikings and the Raiders. The Broncos and the Raiders, even though the Raiders are favored over the Broncos. Now that's a mess, and we haven't talked about Sean Payton the way that they did Russell Wilson. I think they're going to be in a lot of trouble for what they did with that. Uh, Chiefs and the Chargers. Patrick Mahomes is not playing because the Chiefs can't. They are stuck where they are, so it's irrelevant what they do because they've already won the division again for the 8th straight year. Rams at the Niners. That normally would be a great game, but both of them are already in the playoffs, so I don't see many players playing long, if at all, in that. Cowboys and Commanders. The Cowboys need to continue to win to be where they are, so I think they will beat up on the Commanders. The Commanders plus 13. And I think the Dallas will get up big and then sit everybody. Bills and the Dolphins. That is a huge, 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 huge game simply because if the Bills beat the Dolphins, they're the number 2 seed. So everything is riding on that. So I'm definitely going to be interested in that. And that's what I need to do. But starting next week is going to be in a playoff mode. So all the games will matter. And we'll want to see all the games next week. So I guess I can't do that. But next year I think I will make sure that I only put in the games that really matter and people are really interested in seeing next week. That's kind of what I think I'm going to do. So that being said, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. And remember, Thunder tonight against the Hawks. And let's go Thunder. Let's continue this winning streak. Let's continue this momentum. Now, it worries me that this could be a trap game for the Thunder simply because we're playing on a back-to-back night. We had a huge win last night, but the last time we did that, remember we played Denver, beat them, and then had to turn around and play the Nets, and we took care of business. We struggled early in the first quarter, but we came back and took care of business against the Nets. So I think this is going to be about the same thing, same sort of scenario. I mean, we had a huge emotional win last night against the Celtics. We gave up a lot because the Celtics came back like they should, but the Thunder being who they are and have played, and like I said, and I've been saying this for a year and a half, they played in so many close games that they know what they got to do on defense. They know what they got to do on offense. Get the ball in Shea's hand and let him make decisions. That's easy. Don't let Doug not call plays. Get the ball, put the ball in Shea's hands. Let him make a decision on what he wants to do. Whether he wants to take him one-on-one, and if he gets the slot, he'll do that, and I'm perfectly fine with him doing that, or setting up in that Chet shoot a 3, or Joe shoot a 3, or Dort shoot a 3 from corner, not last night because he was terrible, and they need to tell him quit shooting the ball. But that being said, hey, everybody have a fantastic day, and thank you, Bruce Reinhardt and the staff here at Rococo today for taking care of me out here on the patio because it is a magnificent day. I don't know how many more days like this we are going to get. That being said,